So this is the man with the golden finger, right?
No, wrong gold. Wrong Golden movie starring a James Bond.
The man with the golden eye.
No, this is not the one with Christopher Lee, unfortunately.
Golden Eye had Christopher Lee?
No, the man with the golden gun had Christopher Lee.
Gotcha.
Oh, as much as
the man with the golden Christopher Lee.
How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to the General Geekery podcast. This is the podcast where we love to geek out about all that we love to geek out about with no remorse.
No regrets.
And with all of the enthusiasm in the world.
Indeed.
And for the first time, for those of you that are watching this on Patreon right now, this may be a YouTube...
It's Patreon.
Possibly. This may be a YouTube short later on. We actually are recording this on camera this time because it's something new that we are trying. For those of you that are our audio listeners, you guys can check this out on our Patreon at patreon.com/General Geekery. The link will be in the description of the audio episodes where they are. As always, I am your resident coffee ninja by day, actor, gamer, streamer by night, Donald Kaczynski. To my right, as always, she is our resident video game inept, dice slinger magnificent, and artiste extraordinaire, Miss Hannah Kubiak.
Hello. The name's Hannah. Kubiak Hannah.
Oh, not again with this. Oh, my goodness. So, we decided for February, we're bringing back an old favorite from ours last year, because we had such a blast doing this last year. We have brought back James Bond month.
The Bond's name.
The Bond.
James' name.
So, right in front of us, today we're going to be talking about Goldfinger.
The man with the golden finger.
I swear. We're talking about Goldfinger.
I'm so obnoxious.
And for those of you that are watching this on the Patreon, you guys are going to be witnessing our live reactions to the movie. Now, I've seen this film plenty of times before.
I've seen it too.
You've seen it too?
Yes, this was probably the first James Bond movie I saw.
It's a lot of people's introduction. It has like a lot of like the usual tropes that you usually see in James Bond films.
Yep.
This is kind of the film that originated it. This is the third...
Metallic body paint, definitely.
So this is the third film in the James Bond movie series by Ian Productions. And it's the third film to star Sean Connery. And it is also
known as Sean Connery.
Sean Connery. And it is considered by many to be one of the most quintessential entries in the James Bond franchise. It has everything that you would expect, from iconic villain to iconic henchman, iconic Bond girls, and this is the debut of the iconic Bond spy car, the Aston Martin DB5.
Ooh, okay.
So a lot of good stuff to come out of this film. So let's go right ahead and dive right on into it, shall we?
Have we done like an audio test of what it sounds like when we were watching the movie and we are talking at the same time?
Oh, don't worry, it'll be okay. Hello, everyone. Editor Donald here. As past Donald previously mentioned, this episode was recorded with our live reactions to the film Goldfinger. Now, for obvious reasons, we can't play this for you guys on audio platforms, but if you wish to see our full reactions to the movie in full as scenes happen, you can check out the full reaction live on our Patreon right now at patreon.com/General Geekery. Just click on the description below, and if you pledge money to our Patreon, not only will you be able to get access to the reaction, as well as exclusive access to later content that we are going to produce, but you also do a big part in supporting us at General Geekery and everything that we do, from producing content to also doing other side projects such as the Inepticon series as well. We thank you very much for checking out our Patreon, and now without further ado, let us see what past Donald and Hannah thought about Goldfinger. Take it away, guys. So that was Goldfinger.
Goodness.
From 1964, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
So, for a minute there, I thought the James Bond theme written by Monty Python. I was like, wait, what? Did I just, like, have a stroke? Color by Technicolor!
All characters and events in this film are fictitious, and any similarity to persons or events is purely coincidental. So if you have a relative who's been sucked out an airplane window, we did not just take that for ourselves.
Indeed.
It's purely coincidental.
Indeed.
Oh, man.
I haven't watched Goldfinger in years.
Yeah, I haven't seen it in years
that
either.
Was great. That was so much fun.
Oh Oh, man.
All right. So we're still recording on that.
Yeah, do we have any closing comments or anything?
Yeah, let's talk about it a little bit. So, this is the second Connery film that we've talked about on the podcast for James Bond month. We did Dr. No originally.
Yep.
I remember when we originally did that episode, you had mentioned about how unlike other James Bond films it kind of was.
Did I?
I remember you specifically talking about it. This was the movie that started like a lot of like the usual trends that you see in James Bond films, like the standard for like Bond henchman, notable Bond villain, pre-title sequence, actual good title song and intro and everything like that.
Did they not have that in Dr. No?
They didn't really have it like that in Dr. No or in From Russia with Love.
Okay.
As much as I love From Russia with Love, especially, I almost chose that film to watch this month. Mm-hmm. But I figured it'd be a better idea to do Goldfinger, just because we wanted. You were interested in it last year, and I'm like, it would be fun to talk about Goldfinger.
Was I interested in it last year?
I do remember you specifically mentioning it.
I remember nothing, honestly.
I went through the audio of the last year's episodes just to prep ourselves on some stuff. So
no, I literally did nothing to prep except just show up here. So
So we just watched all of Goldfinger. If you guys want to hear our reactions to Goldfinger, and watch us like react to all of it, for our audio listeners, check out the Patreon. So what did you expect going in?
Well, I have seen this one before, so kind of like a couple of things I sort of remembered. Like, not really important things, just, like, little things that happened, like, what was it? Well, like, the girl painted gold, and,
the most striking, memorable thing.
Yeah, it definitely impressed itself upon my mind at quite a young age. And then, obviously, the classic Goldfinger getting sucked out a window,
It looks so dated by today, but I love the part like just it cuts to a close up of his face right he's going in. He's just like cross-eyed like not like there's no.
Yeah, and let me see. Yeah, it's kind of like the ejector seat is another one, just like
such
classic stuff. It's like you don't mention an ejector seat without having the ejector seat come into play later.
It's the Chekhov's gun argument.
Chekhov's gun argument, yeah.
Why did I call it Schrodinger's like?
I
called it Schrodinger's seat.
You should call it Schrodinger's chair. What are you talking about?
It's like
you put a chair in a box and
It's like, Donald, you're off your nut. What the hell are you talking about?
No, I knew what you were talking about. I just didn't... I was like, okay, he means something else, I'm pretty sure. But decided to give you shit about it anyway.
Fair enough. Understandably, I would have done the same. I would have done the same if I were in your position.
Yeah. But yeah, you don't mention a ejector seat without using it later on. You don't mention getting sucked out of an airplane window by a sudden loss of cabin pressure unless you intend to use that later.
Yeah, that's true. And anytime they mention something being done in this, they always follow through on it in some way, shape, or form. Like the laser, they brought it back right at the end there, as I had
they brought electrifying somebody back.
Yeah, they did.
Shocking.
The shocking thing, like it started at the beginning of the movie, at the end of the movie. I'm like, I didn't even really put that together before. I'm like, this is the second. So yeah, you get something.
That's how my brain works. Bookends, even stupid bookends are not lost on me. Even those bookends that are like shaped like the front and the back of a donkey or something. I am on that.
So
I will notice.
So I guess we'll go over a couple of main things on it. So let's go over Bond himself. This might be Connery's best movie as James Bond. Like, we saw hints of, like, the how cool he is in Dr. No. He played more like the spy role, but you can see he brings more of his, like, natural charm in Goldfinger especially.
Yeah.
I mean, I think I mentioned earlier on that, like, the moment where the man talk and, like, the slap on the bottom of Dink. I'm like, only Sean Connery is the only Bond that I can think of that could pull off that specific moment in line. I can't, in that way, and seemingly get away with it. You didn't let him get away with it, which you shouldn't.
He would not get
which
away
you shouldn't.
with it.
It's very much of the time, but I'm like...
Be like, excuse me, sir.
It's like, I can't picture any other Bond doing that. I can't imagine Roger Moore. I can't imagine Timothy Dalton, Pierce Brosnan, or Dan. I can't imagine any of them doing something like that. It just seems like a specifically Sean Connery thing. Yeah. Which is weird.
It is very weird. Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah, there's a... I don't know. I enjoy these movies. I wouldn't necessarily say that I wouldn't necessarily say that I enjoy the plots and the intricacies and the spy stuff and like the they're just fun as well. But I'm not really a big fan of like the like that sort of like womanizer character. You know?
Yeah.
Maybe it's just me. But it just does not seem believable to me. But then again, I'm not really that kind of person who I'm just like, oh my gosh, hello, let's have sex immediately. You know, like
right.
It's like
I feel like
I'm very hard to get, and so just kind of like, that would never happen. But, you know, of course, we know that for some people it does. I don't...
Very much suspension of disbelief in there, but...
yeah, exactly.
And they really...
Well, magnetism or whatever.
I mean, they really upped, like, the womanizing charms for 007 in the movies, especially compared to the novels. I have been reading a couple of the books here and there. I just got done reading, actually, From Russia with Love.
Oh, okay.
Which is actually President John F. Kennedy's one of his top 10 favorite books of all time.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah. Very much of, like, the womanizing charms. Like, it happens in the novels, but not to the kind of, like, extent that's, like, in the films.
It's not so much a, like, a big element of the character, you mean?
Not as much, but I mean, there is like several points, like in the movies, where he's doing it literally for his job as a secret agent. But that's not at all like what like Secret Service work generally ends up being. It's very very glamified for the silver screen.
Right.
Definitely.
Yeah.
But this is like the movie where a lot of like the usual like the traditional James Bond one-liners like keep happening. I love how you called out the shocking line in the beginning pre-title sequence.
Oh man,
that was brilliant. As soon as you said it, like 15 seconds before he said it, I was doing my best not to laugh. I'm like, how did she call it? How does she have the script?
How does she have the script? No, I don't know. I'm a writer, and I have a very corny brain as well. Just
fair.
Yep.
So, with that, the Bond villain. Let's talk about Goldfinger, shall we?
Yes.
Very memorable villain. I would argue he's probably like one of the first like truly memorable like on-screen James Bond villains.
I mean, he dresses like a hobbit, but other than that...
Oh my goodness. So,
I was like, a couple of times I was like looking at him and I'm like, what does he remind me of? Like, gosh, he's got like short pants and a little sweater or waistcoat. What the hell? Like, nice little scarf. What? But yeah, that of course there is that sort of that classic. You expect me to talk? No, I expect you to die.
You want to? So something fun about Goldfinger's performance. Actor Gert Frobe did not really know much English, and
really.
They had to do a redubbing of his original voice before it hit cinemas because you could barely understand him, apparently. The redub was done by TV actor Michael Collins.
So it's not his voice?
It's for much of it. You can only hear a little bit of like his original voice during like the mafia scene when he's explaining Operation Grand Slam.
Gotcha.
But most of it was like redubbed over, and it's heralded as like one of like the most successful and highly praised dubs in cinema history for live action. Cool. There's actually a lot of instances in a lot of old James Bond where a lot of actors had to be redubbed by other actors. Specifically in Dr. No, 90% of like the talking female cast was dubbed over by the actor who portrays Miss Moneypenny.
Oh,
if I'm not mistaken. Just because like a lot of the actors that they had had very thick accents or dialects that just didn't translate properly to like onto the screen or for the story, and was very hard for audiences to understand. I mean, people in the 1960s didn't have automatic captions.
Yeah, I guess, yeah.
Thank goodness for automatic captions for this, because there was a couple of times, like, during the recording when we were watching it, that I had to adjust the volume because I'm like, I can barely hear anything. Thank God for YouTube captions.
Yeah. I kind of have, like, a visual memory as well. Like, I like to have captions on things, even if I can hear it fine. For some reason, I don't know. It must be just the way that I process.
It's same for me.
That I process information.
It's the same for me. That's how I can. I have an innate ability to enact movie dialogue and scenes and stuff like that, and it's partially because I always usually watch films at home or stuff like that with subtitles on the screen.
Yeah. I think. My memory and my comprehension is a little bit more visual than auditory.
Yeah.
Which is why a lot of the time, like, if someone tells me to do something or gives me a bunch of instructions spoken, I'll forget them. Which is why I take, like stupidly precise notes about things that you might not think I'd need to. Because I'm like, I'm going to forget all this because you're simply telling me. But if I write it down, I won't even have to look at that piece of paper again. I will just have looked at it and know, So, I don't know. Mm-hmm. Maybe there's something wrong with me. I don't know. Maybe it's Maybelline. I'm still in the making a corny commentary on a video brain, apparently.
Right. So, Goldfinger, like, this is, like, the first example of, like, a very over-the-top villain in James Bond. And it's been we've had a lot of over-the-top villains, like, throughout James Bond. One of my personal favorites from Roger Moore's era, which is portrayed by the one and only Christopher Walken. Yes, Christopher Walken is a James Bond villain.
Which one is this?
Roger Moore's last film. We'll do that one next year if we get to it.
Cool.
That film is worth watching just for Christopher Walken.
Oh my gosh. I actually haven't seen Christopher Walken in that much. Like, the only thing I've really seen him in is Kangaroo Jack. Which is a really underrated movie, honestly.
If you guys want us to dedicate an entire month to different Christopher Walken performances in film, I will absolutely do this.
Man. But yeah,
I will absolutely do this.
In Kangaroo Jack, he plays this New York mob boss who, like, he's trying to work on his speech. So he's got these speech therapy tapes that he does.
Oh yeah, isn't he the brother for, like, one of the main characters as well, or is that? It's been a long time since I've seen Kangaroo Jack.
No, he's the stepfather of the main character. Yeah.
Okay, I knew there was a relation to one of them.
Yeah, and yeah, and, like, there's certain things that me and my family can't say normally because of things we watched growing up.
Yeah.
And Kangaroo Jack is one of them. Like, when one of us says something like the word amorphous, we can't say it without doing this entire quote from Christopher Walken in Kangaroo Jack, where it's like, the tape is like, now use the word in a sentence. Amorphous, having no definite form. Shapeless, as in, when Mr. Joey Clam got whacked, his head was amorphous.
Oh my jeez.
That was excellent. Now let's move on to the next lesson. The tears on her pillow are a plethora to me, anathema to me. You see what they got me doing? I can't even talk straight.
I love it. Christopher Walken's a treasure. Absolute treasure.
Oh gosh, yeah, that movie, Kangaroo Jack. That's funny. She's like, oh yeah. I went to the wildlife center, and there was this American girl, and she was yeah. Epileptic. Her name is Jessie.
I can't even.
Talking to Jessie about it. What, the epileptic? Yeah.
Speaking of the ladies, we might as well just talk about the three Bond girls in this film.
Goodness.
The main ones. So
the blondes.
so the Masterson sisters, yep. Jill and Tilly. Let's start with those.
Jill and Tilly.
So Jill.
Jilly and Tilly, if you will.
Brah. So we're introduced with Jill. Goodbye, Hannah. Goodbye. So we're introduced to Jill Masterson early on as Goldfinger's aide, mainly to help him cheat at, I think they were playing Gin, if I'm not mistaken.
Possibly?
I forget which card game they're technically
I
playing,
don't
know. But basically she was spying on Goldfinger's opponent's hand in order to help him cheat to win, and he basically pays her for that, and also
pretty cushy
to be
job.
seen with him.
You just sit on a balcony in your underwear and look through binoculars.
Hey, I mean,
Man.
that if that's what
It's
it
like
if that's the
more
19
glamorous version of Rear Window, definitely.
if that's the 1960s version of working from home, then live your best life. Live your best life.
Yeah.
But
and then she just isn't really freaked out at all by this random man wearing a towel.
It's like
coming into the golf
who are
apartment.
you? Why are you here? Oh, Scottish.
Why are you
Interesting.
here? Hello.
She seemed way too
He
eager.
just is in this suite that's apparently very high security, and he's just like on the balcony with you suddenly.
Indeed.
I'm just like, hi. You want to look in the binoculars and talk to my boss? Go ahead.
and then, as M put it, run off with his girlfriend.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, there we go.
Yep.
And then so she eventually gets killed off and becomes the famous woman painted gold.
Yep.
Died from skin suffocation. It's known to happen to cabaret dancers, which is not a real damn thing.
I would know.
Suspension of disbelief being very, very stretched there, Sean.
Oh, man.
Thank you.
We should, in that episode, because it's probably going to be a little bit shorter, we should have, like, little snippets of the thing we're putting on the Patreon. That would be fun.
Oh, don't worry. I'm gonna. Don't worry. I'll figure something out. I'm gonna have a lot of fun editing this.
Oh man. Yeah.
But this was. Yeah. So we get that. We're introduced to Jill's. We're introduced to Jill's sister Tilly.
Mm-hmm.
She's just there to die.
Pretty
She's
much.
just there to die.
Pretty much.
It sucks because in the original novel she lasted almost right up until the end.
Oh my god.
Like she got to her and Bond both get captive and like she was trying to be with Pussy Galore and her associates or something like that. But
really?
I think
she was trying to join the flying circus?
something like that. It's been a long time since I've checked up on the Goldfinger novel, so I'm not entirely 100% sure on that.
Gotcha.
And then of course we are introduced to Goldfinger's personal pilot and the one Bond girl that everybody remembers, Pussy Galore, played by Honor Blackman, who was more famous in the BBC television series The Avengers, which she actually did train in martial arts for the Avengers role.
Cool. Yeah.
Prior to coming on to this.
I had forgotten. I had forgotten how cool she was.
She's
honestly.
awesome!
Because all I remember was that her name was Pussy Galore, and I was like, oh my gosh, what a stripper name. I mean...
The funny thing is, so in interviews with both Honor Blackman and Guy Hamilton, a lot of there was a lot of debate as to whether they should change the name from Pussy Galore to Kitty Galore. But they were like, no. Like, if there's gonna be any 10-year-olds that are gonna watch this film and laugh at the word pussy, then they're just little bitches, apparently. I just read that on the on the Wikipedia page, and apparently Honor took a lot of satisfaction in seeing the embarrassment in interviewers' faces when she kept mentioning her name Pussy Galore in interviews. I'm like, she is in on the joke.
God.
I love this woman.
Yeah.
I love this woman.
I forgot how cool.
No fear.
I forgot how cool she was, and just like
no fear.
I just like. I don't know. I just found it very refreshing that she didn't just, like, melt like butter in James Bond's hands.
She's easily, like, the first one to, like,
yeah. She's just
play
like,
that.
what are you doing? Like,
like your charms won't work on me.
Your charms don't work on me.
To the point that he's like, I have to be forceful. Like, there are people's lives at stake. Like, screw this. Enough.
Yeah.
As you said earlier, Pussy, business before pleasure.
Yeah.
Oy vey.
I don't know. Yeah, that kind of irritated me because I was like, okay, instead of romancing her, if that's not working, just do something else. Like use another tactic, or is that the only tool you have? Like, just be like, hey, you seem pretty cool. How'd you like to help out our country? Sound good? Awesome.
Well, she was in deep with Goldfinger, so he had to do something drastic, apparently. So.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I don't know if I'd be convinced by being like.
They kind of bring that up. They kind of bring that kind of thing up with the character in the next film too.
Yeah.
So it's kind of funny that you mentioned that. They don't address that until the next film.
Being assaulted in a barn does not exactly speak forming an alliance to me.
It's like the
honestly.
only bad mark that I can give this film. It's like one of the big nope marks that I can give this film. It's literally that entire barn sequence.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like, as fun as the interplay is between them, like constantly tripping each other up with martial arts and stuff like that, then you get the forcing on it. I'm like, no, sorry, no, I'm not about that.
Yeah. The interesting thing though is that like, I think I mentioned this in our when we were viewing the movie, but from a jiu-jitsu perspective, like that's actually not a bad position to be in. Like underneath somebody.
Yeah, I was looking away at that moment, and you were talking about it.
Yeah,
I just zoned out.
That's like the entire thing with jiu-jitsu is that it's like it's the perfect martial arts for self-defense against assault, basically. Because like where they want to be, you also kind of want them to be there, so you can like lock them up, and you just trap their hips.
Yeah.
And then they can't get anywhere, and you control their hips, and then you trap their arms, and you control their arms, and then they want to get away from you, and it's great, because then you don't let them.
Gotcha.
That's the whole thing, is getting them into your guard, as they say.
Indeed.
So,
speaking of guards, we might as well just talk about the main henchman of the movie, Mr. Oddjob, played by the late Harold Sakata. Thank you. I caught up on that. So Oddjob is the first truly memorable henchman in James Bond. As much as I love Red Grant from Russia with Love, I don't think he's as iconic as Oddjob. Just the way that Harold Sakata carries himself as Oddjob with like the bowler hat, like. That can cut people's heads off, who everybody hates playing against in GoldenEye 007 for the N64. Just an absolute tank. He tanked a freaking heavy brick of gold thrown at him from a distance with force to the chest.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
That would down a lesser man.
I love...
He crushed a golf ball to dust in his bare hand. That actually happened.
Yeah, and just like... Yeah. We were saying during the final fight sequence, actually, like, he's always just kind of smiling.
Yeah.
And I'm like, it's not like a creepy smile either. It's just like it's almost like a smile that you give to, like, a kid when they're play fighting with you. When they're, like, using you as a jungle gym, and you're like, aw, you. But it's like him and James Bond is the kid. You know? You're like, aw, you little thing, trying to fight with me. Hee hee.
Yeah.
You know? And, yeah, he had a very, like, what was it I said? I think I said, oh, he has a really cute smile. What I said. And, yeah, he's, like, interestingly handsome as well.
Yeah.
You have a chance to get a look at him. Yeah.
I've actually seen some of his old wrestling matches from Japan as well. So,
Japan? I thought... Is it just the character who's Korean?
Yeah, the character is Korean.
Okay.
It's definitely like the stereotypical like Asian like casting of the time, which is
any Asian will do kind of thing.
It's unfortunate.
Well,
it's very much of filmmaking of the times.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
but
like,
at least it's not like Dr. No, where they had a specific character, side character notable to the plot playing Yellowface.
Right.
Like,
or like Mickey Rooney in Breakfast at Tiffany's.
Oh, that hurts my soul. Yeah. That hurts my soul.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, I don't think, like, if you, for example, when you've got like the whole thing about like casting Asian actors as Asian characters and stuff, like, I don't think that's necessarily a problem, you know, because like when you cast a white person as like an Irish person, they don't have to actually be Irish. They just have to, you know, be convincingly Irish, you know. And I think like I don't know. I think it was in Star Trek the remakes. John Cho, who played Sulu.
Yeah.
Right? Like, oh gosh, I'm trying to remember where Sulu is supposed to be from. When he was played by George, that guy.
I think Takei...
George Takei and John Cho are like...
They're two different ethnicities.
They're different nationalities, yeah. But like
right.
George Takei said that he was like, yeah, well, in this like Sulu sort of encompasses and gives representation to just like all Asian people, basically, which like that was what he said, which is like he's like, yeah, I'm cool with it, you know. And now I want to know where Takei and John Cho are from.
We'll figure that off screen. I'm not gonna get into like that kind of diplomacy because that's an entire ball of wax in its own right. Mm-hmm. But just talking in terms of Oddjob, I would say Harold Sakata as Oddjob is like one of the first notable wrestler to acting examples in the history of cinema. Yeah, like that because Goldfinger predates The Princess Bride, where Andre the Giant most notably was in there, and I think even before that or after that or something like that, with Roddy Piper being in They Live and everything. Okay. So it kind of shows like an early example of like wrestlers making good actors on occasion. This was actually like one of the first acting things that he ever done. Yeah. But it was a little bit of a typecasting because he eventually ended up playing Oddjob characters like all throughout his life. He even appeared in a film alongside William Shatner, I was reading. Really? Yeah. What movie? I don't remember, but I kind of want to... I think it's called Impulse? Okay. Or something like that? It's called Impulse Engine, perhaps? I have no idea. Uh-huh. But it's really interesting. I do kind of want to check it out because I'm like... So, Oddjob interacting with William Shatner. Nice. This sounds amazing. But, yeah, Oddjob, like, always a highlight when he showed up in the film. Just doesn't say a word, just grunts, because I think the character's a mute. Character is a mute, yes. So, it's mainly, like, through his actions, but, like, everything in the film just works so well together. Like, there's never any time that I did not remember a character. Every single person was, like, memorable in its own right, even to, like, a lesser extent. Like, oh, man, on the plane, the plane attendant, Mei Lee, that was keeping an eye on Bond, we were joking through the peepholes. It was like, no, I can't see the Scottish-British buns. Oh, man. Look, if you're going to give me a situation like that with a peephole, I'm like, I have to do it. If I don't say it, someone else will. Okay. George Takei is Japanese, and John Cho is South Korean. I had a feeling Takei was Japanese. I did not know which nationality John Cho was. Yeah. So born in Seoul. Seoul? Okay, nice. So, altogether, the movie itself. Any thoughts, opinions, like stuff that you were confused about? I'm always confused by the all the political intrigue and stuff, but I always enjoy the ride. I'm always like, I don't understand what's going on here, but I know that that's bad if that bomb goes off, you know? Right. I mean, a lot of it is like stuff that's like usually over our heads is like spy stuff and issues all the time, because this is still like in Cold War era of the world. Yeah. So obviously, the threat of like nuclear disaster again is always just like looming high above our head. Yeah. At the time. My mom was talking about, in the podcast that we were recording, we did one about the generations, and she was talking about being from Generation X. And she said, yeah, one of the main things about growing up as a member of Generation X was that you thought throughout your entire childhood that at some point you were going to get nuked. Like... Yeah. So yeah, like hiding under desks for drills was like nothing really. You know, she's like, what would a desk have done for us, honestly? But it would have kept our brains from melting. I don't know. Were the desks lead lined? Is that how that works? I'm an idiot. I don't know. I don't understand logic. Logic given to us from people that are older than us always never made sense to me. Is like, you do realize that most of what you're saying is you're literally talking out of your ass.
Well,
but I digress.
Yep.
I digress at that point. But I will say this film makes it very easy and concise of like what's happening and how they like detail everything.
Yeah.
So Operation Grand Slam, like it's kept in the dark until like the very end when it's like eventually revealed. It's like, oh, it's just going to be stealing the gold, and Goldfinger's like, who said anything about moving it? And you're like,
oh.
And then you get Bond works out that he's going to irradiate the gold in order to make it useless for half of a century plus, and make his own Goldfinger's own gold stock like increase in price. Which it's just like, okay, yeah,
you know,
that makes a lot of sense.
Decreased supply, increased demand.
Checks and balances, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes.
So, yeah, I love how they keep like the plot consistent. Everything is just out there. It's not like high concept to the point where you're melting your brain trying to figure it out.
Well, I don't try to anymore. Figure it out. I'm just like,
I don't know. Sometimes it like reads like that. It's like, wait, how does that work into that? How does that? Wait, you are tearing me apart, movie. You won't. I only have 2 hours to understand your entire thing, and you're throwing so much detail at me. I have things to do. It's a thing with me. I can't help it. But yeah, Goldfinger, despite like some very of the time flaws that like does not age particularly well, I still think it's like a very standout Bond movie. It's a staple for a reason. It's appeared in a lot of people's usually top 10 lists. I don't know if I would personally put it in my top 5.
No.
But it's still a lot of fun. It's just during the
it's fun, but it doesn't capture my soul in any way.
Right. In between like the second in the middle of the film to like the third act, like when they're going to Fort Knox, it kind of slows down a little bit where you just
where he's just kind of like chilling at the estate in Kentucky.
It's like, yes, that's right, ladies and gentlemen, one of the most popular Bond films of all time. About a quarter to a third of the entire film takes place entirely at a ranch in Kentucky. I don't get it either.
Oh yeah. I just like.
It's like at that point you're just screaming internally, bring the golf game back. Bring back the golf game.
Or like, what is it? All the soldiers just lying around at Fort Knox on the ground, and you're like, well, yeah, any given day on the streets of Ohio.
I still stand by that joke.
Just on the ground.
I still stand by that joke.
What about the car chase? With like that was any given day in Los Angeles.
We never mentioned the car, the Aston Martin.
Yeah. If we're watching a movie and I can't say any given day in fill in the blank of some American city or state, I have wasted my time here.
Fair enough. But this is also the film that introduces like a lot of stuff to it that we mentioned. It introduces possibly like one of the most famous cars in James Bond, which is the Aston Martin DB5. This car appears in so many different Bond films. It actually makes more appearances in the Daniel Craig era.
That's right. The vintage, it comes back.
Yeah, we're going to see it again. Like in our watch throughs, we have 3 more Bond films that we've chosen to watch. I hope you guys are very excited for them.
Hopefully, if you're not, you don't have to listen.
Yeah, that's true. But yeah, like overall, very much love Goldfinger. Absolutely enjoyed it, and if you guys haven't seen the film yet and want to. Definitely go check it out. And if you guys want to hear our commentary as you watch it, please go to our Patreon at patreon.com/General Geekery, and you guys can listen to us banter and laugh at the movie alongside you guys.
Oh man, I made so many terrible jokes.
I kind of did too.
Oh man, I said so many inappropriate things. Oh man.
It's okay. Naniate. Naniate.
And what?
You're okay.
You are okay.
You're fine. You're fine. But, yeah. Any closing remarks, Hannah, before we end things off?
Closing remark? No. I have said all that I wanted to say.
So that has been this episode of General Geekery talking about Goldfinger. Did you guys like this particular format of General Geekery? This is something that we are going to experiment with in the future.
Yeah, we're trying a new thing. See if you...
Yeah, we're trying some new stuff with the episodes and the content. Do you guys like it? please let us know on our social media and our Discord, links of which are all in the description of this episode. And if you guys want to check out me and Hannah at our different stuff, you can check Hannah out at, where's the DeviantArt again?
Dolman Bright.
Dolman Bright, thank you. That's the only one that I cannot remember. And you guys can check me out on my socials at ReZachMK7 on Twitter and at Coffee Ninja Ryu on Twitch. I recently on Twitch became a VTuber. So if you guys are interested in that kind of stuff, go check that out. I didn't even see the hand right there. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to leave you hanging.
No. I was like, oh, great. I was too subtle with it.
No, you're good. You're good.
Like, hey!
I was looking at the camera. I'm sorry.
Here!
I'm sorry.
Hey!
But yeah, I recently started getting into VTubing, so if you guys want to check me out doing some of that crazy stuff, go check that out at Coffee Ninja Ryu on Twitch. Also, if you guys want to stay tuned for like all the Adepticon stuff that we got going on, we're trying to do that at least 2 to 3 times a month. We'll probably do it on that Twitch channel as well. And if you guys want to check out all of our previous episodes on General Geekery, the playlist will be in the description of this episode. It will take you to the YouTube playlist where you get all the episodes of Season 1 and everything that we got going on for Season 2 right now. So that will be it for this episode, our first entry into Bond Month 2023 about Goldfinger. Join us next time as it is the return of one of our favorite things from last year. Should we just do the chant?
Yes.
Jaws v. Jaws! Jaws v. Jaws! Jaws v. Jaws! Jaws v. Jaws! Next time we are watching the follow-up to our favorite film from last year, The Spy Who Loved Me. We are watching Moonraker, where one of our favorite henchmen, Richard Kiel as Jaws, returns with Roger Moore. Yep. So catch us out next time with that. Until we next see you guys, this is Hannah. I've been Donald. Until next we see you, have your cocktails, your vodka martini shaken, not stirred. And always remember to keep your geek on.
Always.
Clink, clink.
That was a good clink, clink.
Indeed it was. Bye, guys.
Bye. I feel like every episode ends with like, that was a good clink, clink, or whoa, that was a terrible clink, clink.